It is time to finish up my 2026 Notion page. So this is the second part of the series of where I set up my Notion 2026 from scratch with no experience. If you haven't watched the first part, then go and watch that now and here. And otherwise, I would say let's start directly into the video. So this is how my page is looking like. Most of it I did on my first video in my Notion series for 2026. So if you don't know how I did something, then just go back and check out this video. Here on the side I have my sketch that I also explained in my last video, which is kind of like the orientation of how I want my Notion in the end to look like. In this vlog we will touch on things like making the progress bar, add the goal task, look at the quarter plans. Now there is some stuff I already added since my last vlog, and I'm gonna explain that now because some stuff I really still had to figure out myself and I didn't want to do that while doing a vlog. So let's have a look on all of the things that I added since my last vlog. I decided personally that I don't want to use the goal task anymore because I don't really like using task like the task database that you can get from Notion. I haven't really figured out how that would work for me. So I decided instead to make subtasks for this database that I have just from my goals. You can add subtasks to a database if you go to the settings and then you go to more settings and then here you can choose it. Now I already have it. So I have here already my sub items, and let's quickly have a look on how this works. You have this little symbol here, and when you click on it you can add new sub items. Then they're kind of under this one, right? Makes sense. So you can change this and you can then also still change this here. I think that's really a cool way to add kind of tasks or more like milestones, because in the end there's so many tasks for like this goal set I set myself for a whole year. I think it's better if I have all of that together in one database and not just make a separate one for the task. And that's why I decided I will do it like that. So I add all of my milestones or just bigger tasks for my goals in the sub items section. Exactly, so this I added, which means this goal task will fall away. Then next up, what I also added is here this progress bar, which took me kind of a while to figure out how it works. Now to quickly understand how this works, we open up one of my goals and then you can see here the stand. The property which I use is a formula. And then I got a formula from the internet that I just copied in and asked Notion AI to make it fit for my database. So I don't really know if this formula is going to help you, but if you have Notion AI and you can use Notion AI, then just take this one and ask it to make this formula work for your database. The thing is, you normally get Notion AI when you pay for Notion, which I don't do, but you have some Notion AI tries. I don't know, like a limited amount of times you can use it. I'm actually not sure, but I could use it even though I'm not paying for it. So if you're lucky, you can do it as well. And with that I have now this progress bar which changes for my status. So if I change this, we can show this afterwards, it also changed my progress bar. And I choose a bar so I can just show it better. Like for example, I have one here that I added for all of them, and then I have all of the progress here as well. So for example, if I add here a sub item, let's call it test, and then I change here the property to done, you can see that the stand goes to 100 because I did all of the sub items, and you can see down here that it also changes to 100. How I did this is basically just a new way of looking at the database. So it's the same database as up here. I did this as a gallery and I just make it like super small so these all can fit together because I have a lot of goals. Now if you wonder how I did it, that now everything is red and when it was 100 it was green, this is how I did it. So you can go to the settings and then you go to conditional colors and then you can add here when which color is shown. So I used my progress bar and said if it's 0 then it shows red, and if it is 100 or less then it shows green. So I always see which one I haven't started yet and which ones I did start. So I really like that, and that is kind of also my progress bar that I wanted to add, as you can see here on the side. So much to the progress bars, one of the hardest things for Notion, I found at least. And now let's have a look on the 7 areas and see what we can add there to each of the pages. The 7 areas are here on top, and if you haven't watched my last video, I also categorized all of my goals into these 7 areas. And what I want to do is then by each areas it shows just the one goal that I have from that category. So let's start off, for example, by health. we go here and we type in database inline. Inline just means that it like goes into the page and it doesn't make a new page by its own. So by an inline database, you can also have other databases and text and stuff. Or when it's like a full page, you can only have the database and nothing else. And then we link it to the goals 2026. Exactly. And now, of course, it's gonna load all of my goals, but we don't want that. So we're gonna filter it by the category, and we want the category health. Now, I would say the layout is the table definitely the best for all of these. And just like that, we have all of these, and now we can actually hide the category health because obviously it's only the ones with that. And then we have something less to show. That will be here. By category, like this. So, and just like that, we have all of my health ones. Now, definitely something I always do with a new page is make it full width. As you can see, it just takes the whole page and not only kind of the middle, which just gives you so much more space. So what I'm going to do now is add everywhere from the 7 areas the filtered goals database. Okay, so I added now all of the filtered databases to the 7 areas. And next up we have a look on my quarter quests. So I opened here one of the quarter pages. Now I'm gonna call this quarter quest because I think it's so much more fun and motivating when you see each quarter as kind of like a journey or like a quest and not as like just a plan. Just writing it down like this, I always love to write down things so much more like fun and more like gamified than they actually are, so let's keep it that way. Okay, so what I want to add is for sure for each of the 3 months in each quarter, just kind of like an overview of what is going on. So that would be January, February and March here. So what are we going to do is we turn this into 3 columns exactly, and then we just write here January, okay, so I did some formatting, and now what I for sure also want to add is our 2026 goals database and just add the ones that are in this quarter. Perfect. So now we have here all of our goals, then we can add here like an overview of each of the months that are in this quarter. And I think with that, the quarter quest page is really good. I have to see for myself how I'm going to use what. I definitely want to add here like important dates or important things I want to do. Also probably like goals I want to do in which of the 3 months in each quarter. But for now, let's leave it like that, and I'm gonna add this to all of the other quarters that we still have. So as you can see, I did all of my quarter quests here, and now let's add the quick notes here on this side. Now I'm not gonna name this quick notes, but just notes, because I think it could also be just important notes, or like if I do like a review or reflection, I realize that something isn't working as well, I think I could write it down here. So I think this is really good, super easy add, but I think can be useful for over the year to just have a place to write down important things. Now for the rewards, which you can also see here, I'm not going to do that because I don't think they're as important for me right now, and I wouldn't know like what my rewards even would be and like how I would do it. So I'm not going to do this for this year. I'm gonna see if I would want it, probably maybe next year. That was just an idea. I saw it on another Notion, but I think it's not really necessary for me right now. So, but now let's have a look on my menu. Now I'm not gonna do all of the pages here in this video because also some are a little more personal. But what I'm definitely gonna do is the lessons and highlights here. Now basically the lessons and highlights is something I do monthly, where I just kind of write down what I learned in this month and what the highlights were in this month. So it's always kind of like a end of months ritual that I have, and I definitely want to continue doing that. So I'm just gonna name all of the different months here, so I then afterwards can write it down under each one of them. So now I did all of the months, and I did it as a toggle so I wouldn't lose the overview because there's just so much text on the page. So, you know, I just could close it once I'm done with the months. And now let's just try and copy this over to the highlights, because basically they're like the same exactly. And then we have here these as well, and this is everything I have to kind of set up for these pages. I'm going to just keep it simple on these pages because I'm not going to visit them as often as here. I'm not going to add like all of the quotes and stuff for now, because I just want to focus on getting this ready for 2026 right now. Next up, we want to try to do the Wheel of Life, because I saw that you can like transform a database into a Wheel of Life, which I find so cool. So let's go and try and do that. So first of all, let's make this full width, and then we're gonna do a new database, which we are gonna call the Wheel of Life 2026. So we're gonna add here the names, this is good, and we add a property which is number. Then we change here the number to rating. Now, if you have seen my half-year reset routine, you saw that I already did a Wheel of Life here, and I'm going to use the same categories as I used on this one here. So I can always see how these develop, and I'm really happy with that one. So let's put that into my Notion. So I added now all of the properties, and I'm just going to add a rating now just to see if this even works. So nothing really in particular is right here. Now with that added, we can go over to the website where you can do now the Wheel of Life. So now we are here now at chartbase.so, which apparently you can do this Wheel of Life charts. I of course signed up, and now I can do here create chart, and we want this radar chart. So we go on next, and we now search for a database, and it is linked to my Notion, which means I can just type in Wheel of Life 2026. So perfect. And then we go on next. Okay, so then the X artist would be, I have no idea. Let's just try it. Oh, perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. That is perfect. Perfection. Now, let's see if we can add our own color here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add my own colors here now. So this is now with my pink, so I think absolutely amazing. Well, this was actually so easy. Now I don't think I can change here a lot, because like for a lot you have to pay. But let's embed this. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And then we add this here as an embed one. Let's see if this works. Perfect. Nice. Love it. It says here powered by Chartbase, but I don't really care. Like, it looks really cool. Now I want to have this one next to each other. Ooh, I really like that. That is really, really cool. So yeah, really love that I did that, and I can also add my own colors. And with that we have the Wheel of Life, which of course I'm still gonna actually do at the end of 2025, but that is a little more private. Let's quickly have a look on the other things in my menu. Manifesting is one that I want to just kind of copy paste over for what I have in 2025 and just change up a little bit. It's just basically a lot of manifestations that I have for my daily life that I can say or listen to, but there's not really something I have to crazy set up. Notion is basically just text that I'm gonna add into Notion. What I also still have on my menu is my mind movie, which basically is just kind of a day in my best version life in the future. So I can like play it in my mind. So I write down all of the things, what I do on that day, who I'm meeting, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, and don't know, I read it through and I imagine it as if it already would happen. So it's also basically kind of like a manifestation way. Now I already did one like half a year ago the first time, so I'm also going to take that, change it up a little bit, but it's also just text. Then the manuscript is just a very detailed description of how my best future selves look like. So I'm also just going to basically add the text that I had in 2025 and make some changes to that. Now we also still have the 2025 reflection on my menu. There's basically where I'm just going to reflect how 2025 went. I don't really know yet how I'm going to do this, so I have to see what questions I want to ask myself. But I'm also basically just going to, write down the questions and then my answers. So just text-based page as well on Notion. And now my Notion page is actually kind of looking like the sketch that I did in the beginning. So I would say this is already looking so good. And For me, thinking that I didn't even really know what I wanted when I did the sketch, and I was really like a little overwhelmed of how I could even pull this off, like planning 2026, like such a big thing in Notion. Even though I've never done it before, I think it turned out really, really well. And I hope that you could take something for your Notion board as well. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!